The story begins with the princess, Amara, sitting alone in her grand but cold palace chamber. She gazes out of the window at the bustling town below, where commoners are laughing and living freely. Amara feels trapped in a life dictated by royal traditions. Despite her wealth and privilege, she yearns for freedom, love, and authenticity. Amara's parents have arranged for her to marry a wealthy prince from a neighboring kingdom. She feels no connection to him and despises the idea of a loveless, duty-bound marriage. One day, while sneaking out of the palace disguised as a commoner, she meets Rafik, a kind-hearted but poor craftsman. Their brief conversation sparks a sense of connection she has never felt before. Amara must decide whether to follow her heart and pursue a life with Rafik, or stay bound by her royal obligations and her family's expectations. Amara is intelligent and curious, but feels stifled by the rigid expectations of royalty. She often sneaks out in disguise to explore the town. During these excursions, she displays her empathy by helping a child struggling to carry water or sharing coins with a beggar. Rafik is a skilled craftsman who takes pride in his work. He's shown repairing a broken toy for a child and refusing extra payment from a struggling customer. His kindness and humility stand out immediately. Amara strikes up a conversation with Rafik while pretending to browse his crafts. She's drawn to his honesty and grounded nature. Rafik, unaware of her true identity, treats her with casual respect, a stark contrast to the reverence she's used to. Back at the palace, Amara confides in her maid and childhood friend Layla. Layla provides a mix of humorous quips and practical advice, lightening the tone. She warns Amara of the risks, but secretly supports her longing for freedom. Through Layla's observations, Amara begins to see the vast differences between her royal life and the life she desires with Rafik. Meanwhile, Rafik is depicted as someone who values simplicity and integrity above all else, making their potential relationship feel both enchanting and challenging. Amara continues visiting Rafik under the guise of an ordinary townswoman. Over time, their conversations deepen, and they develop mutual respect and admiration. However, during one such visit, she's spotted by a palace guard who recognizes her and reports back to the king. The king, alarmed by Amara's excursions and her association with a commoner, confines her to the palace. He begins arranging a marriage for her with a powerful prince from a neighboring kingdom, framing it as a necessary political alliance. Meanwhile, Rafik learns the truth about Amara's identity from a gossiping customer. The revelation shakes him. He feels betrayed and overwhelmed, realizing how far apart their worlds are. Yet, he cannot deny his feelings for her. Amara resists the arranged marriage, arguing with her father in private. She insists that she should marry for love, not politics, but her pleas fall on deaf ears. The king dismisses her protests as youthful rebellion. Layla, sensing Amara's despair, sneaks a note to Rafik, explaining the situation. This small act of rebellion becomes the lifeline that keeps their connection alive. Confined to the palace, Amara grows restless. With Layla's help, she crafts a daring escape plan. Using a secret tunnel beneath the palace, she flees one moonlit night, determined to meet Rafik and find a way to be together. Initially hesitant, Rafik realizes he cannot let fear dictate his choices. Inspired by Amara's courage, he begins making preparations for their life together, seeking help from his community. When Amara's disappearance is discovered, the king orders a search. The guards scour the town, putting both Amara and Rafik at great risk. The stakes escalate as their escape window narrows. Rafik's neighbors rally to protect the young couple. They spread false information to mislead the guards, buy supplies for the pair, and create a distraction to ensure Amara and Rafik can leave safely. Just as Amara and Rafik prepare to leave, they are discovered by the palace guards. Cornered, Amara boldly confronts them, revealing her identity and demanding they let her go. Her commanding presence momentarily disarms the guards, but the threat remains. As the guards prepare to detain Amara and Rafik, the king himself arrives. He confronts his daughter, furious at her defiance, and accusing Rafik of manipulating her. Amara passionately defends her decision, stating that her choice to leave was not rebellion, but an assertion of her own happiness and identity. She argues that love and compassion are more important than maintaining the family's public image. Rafik, aware of the imbalance in power, steps forward. He respectfully addresses the king, vowing to honor and care for Amara, but insisting he will not stand in the way if Amara's freedom is conditional upon leaving him. The king, though outwardly unmoved, is privately struck by the sincerity of Rafik's words and Amara's courage. A memory of his own youth, where he had to sacrifice personal happiness for royal duty, softens his stance. The king orders the guards to stand down, declaring that Amara's happiness is hers to choose. However, he issues a final warning. Their life together will not be easy, and they must prove their love is strong enough to endure. A year later, Amara and Rafik are living a modest but fulfilling life in Rafik's village. The once skeptical villagers now admire Amara's humility and hard work as she helps them with their daily struggles, proving she isn't above them despite her royal upbringing. The king, out of curiosity and concern, visits them discreetly. He sees the joy and contentment in his daughter's life, even without the luxuries of the palace. For the first time, he acknowledges that her choice might have been the right one. Amara's younger siblings, who accompanied the king, witness her life and are inspired by her courage and determination. They begin to question the rigid traditions of royalty and consider following their hearts too. Rafik, while still adjusting to the responsibilities of being married to someone who comes from a different world, reflects on how Amara's love has brought new meaning to his life. The story ends with a conversation between the king and Amara as they walk through the village. Amara tells him, "Happiness isn't in crowns or castles. It's in the hearts that beat for one another." The king quietly nods, leaving the audience with a thought-provoking message about the true meaning of happiness. As the king departs, the villagers celebrate the simple joys of life: a sunset, shared laughter, and the bond of love. Amara and Rafik hold hands, their gaze toward the future, ready to face whatever comes next together. A sudden crisis rocks the couple's life. Rafik's small farm is destroyed by a storm, leaving them with no immediate source of income. Amara is faced with the reality of rural struggles, and whispers in the village suggest she might regret her decision to leave the palace. Instead of crumbling, Amara steps up, using her wit and resourcefulness. She organizes a village fundraiser, convincing her father's royal council to donate supplies, proving to the villagers that her royal background can still serve them in meaningful ways. Rafik, overwhelmed by guilt for being unable to provide, contemplates letting Amara return to her royal life. A heartfelt conversation between them reveals Rafik's fears and Amara's unshakable love for their life together, reinforcing their bond. The villagers, inspired by Amara's actions, come together to rebuild Rafik's farm. This moment symbolizes the merging of two worlds: Amara's royal upbringing and the humble but united spirit of the villagers. The couple stands in their rebuilt home as the storm clears. They realize their strength lies not in wealth or status, but in their ability to face life's challenges together.